but we're talking about Carson Wentz for a reason. Someone has to win the NFC East, and after yesterday, it might well wind up being Washington throwing its hat in the ring, beating the Bengals yesterday. Washington 2-2 in its last 4 games. The Cowboys hadn't won in a month, but they scored a win over in Minneapolis thanks to Andy Dalton's 3 touchdowns, Zeke Elliott's first 100-yard game of the season, and the Eagles, they failed to expand their division lead after losing to the Browns. Carson Wentz, candidly, was terrible. 2 more interceptions. A little later in the program, we'll talk about the possibility that he might get benched because his coach addressed it. But let's just look at the division. Cowboys win. Washington wins. All 4 teams have 3 wins in the division and are squarely in the mix. You want to talk about the remaining schedule? The Eagles have the toughest remaining schedule with 4 games remaining against teams that are over 500. Cowboys, on the other hand, have the easiest schedule remaining, only 1 game against a winning team. So it is almost a difficult question to ask, but I will ask it to Dan Orlovsky. Which is the best team in the NFC East?
Yeah, the New York Giants. I broke it down to 3 questions, Greeny. First of all, what defense do I trust the most in that division? It's the Giants. They've got the best defense in that division by far. Then what coaching staff do I think has the best belief in their players, has the best feel for their players, has the best trust in their players, and vice versa, players to coaches? I think it's the New York Giants. And then the most important one is what offense and what quarterback do I trust the most in that division right now? It's Daniel Jones if he doesn't turn the football over. And I want everyone to understand how difficult that is for me to say and how mind-blowing it is for me to say. That I trust Daniel Jones the most out of anyone in that division, as long as he doesn't turn the football over. And the truth is this. Over the last 6 games, the Giants are 3-3. And those 3 losses are by 6 points. Yeah. The Giants are the best team in that division.
Rex, I'm coming to you with the same thought. RC, I'm saving you for last. Rex, I'm coming to you with the same thought. Which is the best team in the NFC East?
Well, I agree with Dan, except for who's going to be coaching. Are we going to fire your offensive line coach again, or who's next to be fired? I don't know. But look, I appreciate, Dan talking about my son like that, Daniel Jones. But he's right. Like, Carson Wentz is garbage. Like, I watch him. I'm sitting back, saying I still like Carson Wentz. Man, he's playing so bad. And when you look at it, the Cowboys do have the easiest track. They'll probably get there. But right now, I like the Giants better. But the Cowboys, that with an easier schedule, I hate to say it, I could see them winning the division.
All right, so we got 1 for the Cowboys and 1 for the Giants. And Ryan Clark, I believe it would be a breach of my fiduciary responsibility to this program, to this network, and perhaps to the entire company if I did not point out to you that the only thing separating any of the teams in this division, the reason the Eagles have the lead in the division, is because of the tie. What is your reaction?
Greeny, can you hear me?
Yes, I've got you, RC.
Because you know what? While you were talking, my TVU actually shut off. How about that? When you were talking about the tie, my TVU shut off and I couldn't hear you. That's the greatest thing that has ever happened to me, because on Sundays now, I pray for the Cowboys to go on a run and win the NFC East. Because as I'm sitting in my house, here is what I picture when you send me that tweet about the tie and you send me the standings. I see you're in your house and you're looking at your kids and you say, you know what? You say, you know what? Fire. Then you look at your one kid, you say Adam. Then you look at your other kid, you say Gase. I told RC, I told Rex, I told Dan that the tie was going to win it all. And you know what? I was right. And so right now, even though, hey, did I tell you guys, Northwestern blew out Wisconsin. It was freaking great. And then I saw Golick. We had pizza. I ate it with a fork. I ate it with a knife. And I said, hey, wait. The Eagles still got that tie, and they're still going to win. And I'm going to text RC because this is what I care about, guys. This is what I care about. Yes, I'm in the Hall of Fame, but that's not what's important. What I care about more than having friends is this. I care more about being right than having friends. And right now, Fire, Adam, and Gase, I am right. Now, bring my dog Trevor Lawrence over here so we can eat. That's you. That's what I picture every weekend.
That's very, very well played. By the way, I assumed that Fire Adam or Gase, one of them was the dog, because they only have 2 kids. But that's okay. I will give them one of them the middle name, Adam, or something like that. You know what?
Stacy's name is now Fire.
Oh, that's correct. Well, okay. Very well played. Very well played. The bit worked, regardless of my number of kids. Okay, let's move on to a game yesterday where something happened that I'm not sure it made any sense at all.
You're right. This is one of the only teams in the league that give Kansas City all they want.
They really did an extraordinary job last night, RC. What are you seeing from the Raiders on offense? They put together as much defense as you can, I guess, against Kansas City, but it's their offense that impressed last night.
Yeah, listen, the Las Vegas Raiders are one of the top 3 teams in the AFC, and I believe they're the second best offense in the AFC right behind Kansas City. I talked about it on Friday that when we see this unique excellence like we've seen in Kansas City, teams start to scramble to try to beat them. Think about LeBron James being in Cleveland, finding a way to beat the world record-breaking Golden State Warriors. What they go do? They went out and got KD because they said they needed a superstar. Now, look at the Oakland Raiders. Most teams try to build with defensive ends and secondary players to try to beat the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Raiders said, we're going to fight fire with fire. We're going to have as much offense as you have, and we've seen that in 2 games. They went toe-to-toe, tat for tat, stood in the middle of the ring, and slugged it out offensively with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's been extremely fun to watch. This offense can beat you any way you ask them to. They can run it, they can throw it, they can play the short game, they can play the long game. They're impressive to watch, and not a team you want to face in the playoffs.
How about the performance of the quarterback last night, Dan? Again, I don't want to take Patrick Mahomes for granted, but we sort of do take it for granted. He was brilliant last night. He's always brilliant. But how about the Raiders quarterback?
Derek Carr was outstanding. You know, Greeny, this is a football team offensively that has a great formula. If you look at what they did with Derek Carr last night, it was a ton of condensed formations, get to line of scrimmage, and hey, Carr, you control the game. Almost like Peyton Manning used to do back in the game back in the day where they would allow him to go up and not necessarily get them out of bad plays, but consistently get them into really good plays. And they got really good players. Renfro's a really good player. Waller, Jacobs, Aguilar's making plays. So Derek Carr was outstanding, and they're operating this offense at such a high clip. And Derek Carr is so comfortable right now with John Gruden and Greg Olson's offense that he has complete confidence in control of this football team. But here's the reality, guys. They played a great game. The Raiders were as good as they can be. Wasn't good enough. That's the thing with the Chiefs. It's however you want it, they'll give it to you that way. That's the truth about this football team. The Raiders have a perfect formula to beat Kansas City. They executed it perfectly, and it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, RC, quickly. I used to say that about the truth about this. Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying the truth about this football team isn't about the fact that you got to execute it personally or the Kansas City Chiefs can beat you any way they want to. It's because they got Pat Mahomes.
Sure.
It's the same reason why they have a loss. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a loss, and they are always number 1 in my power rankings. And you were almost correct, Dan. You said they executed perfectly, and they almost did. The thing they did, they left too much time on the clock for Patrick Mahomes. There was nobody in America watching that game last night when it was 1:43 left that said to themselves, Patrick Mahomes isn't going to score a touchdown. And that's the problem, and that's the danger in playing that team. But I think when you look at offensive teams that match up with the Kansas City Chiefs, the Las Vegas Raiders do it the best.
All right, so that was a game in which both quarterbacks put up huge numbers, and it was score for score at the end. That's the kind of game Rex Ryan hates. Let's talk about the kind of game Rex Ryan loves. How about the slugfest? Titans, Ravens, thriller of the day. Rex, pregame, the Titans are meeting out in the center of the field, and John Harbaugh doesn't like it.
No, he doesn't like it. They're sitting back saying, okay, it's on. It's getting ready to get on, and it was.
It was absolutely on. You could see Harbaugh and Malcolm Butler were drawing a little bit. Then in the third quarter, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Dan, his favorite target is Mark Andrews.
I love this play design. It's a cover 3 attacker. Andrew goes up, kind of breaks out, goes that back pylon, touchdown Ravens.
So the Ravens have an 11-point lead. They should be able to put a game away when they're playing from well out in front. But then Lamar does this.
Yeah, Greeny, you don't do this to a guy that's not one of those opportunity ball receivers. Duvernay's not that guy giving him that chance. Huge turnover for Tennessee.
Titans kick a field goal, and then this is inexplicable. Down 21-16. Rex, how does A.J. Brown score on this play?
Not against the Ravens, you don't. By the way, Queen, You're a linebacker, man. That can't happen. Come on.
Look at the
knock them back.
The power and the desire
Ridiculous.
from AJ, but that's just an embarrassing moment there for usually the bullies on the block, which is Baltimore. Titans, a 2-point conversion, puts them up 24-21. Under 2 minutes to go, Lamar Jackson scrambling, gets them in field goal range. They would set up for Justin Tucker. Was there ever any question he makes this kick?
No, absolutely no question, Greeny.
Big trust. Justin Tucker, 29 yards, and it's good. We're going to overtime. Ravens win the toss. They're going to receive first. But, Dan, they would go nowhere fast. Lamar Jackson, nothing to do in the pocket.
Yeah, there's no rhythm to this passing game. That sack comes through. Lamar's got nowhere to go with the football, and they get behind the chains. Tennessee's going to get the ball right back, and they're going to give it to the big fella. They see pressure off that right side. You shut off the gap. Derrick Henry does a great job of pressing, cutting back. Game over.